What do this stick and this sand have to do with today's call? Well, today it is all about what are some things that we can do to make learning a little bit more hands-on for our students. I'm going to be showing you some of the tricks that I use with my students, but not only that, but we're also going to be taking a look at what are some other multisensory tools that we can utilize that are online as well. So as a reading tutor, oftentimes I'm working with really young children when it comes to being able to teach, and they love to be able to get their hands messy. They have a lot of fun when they get to be creative and they can have fun. And that's what wiki sticks allow them to do. So what I think is really cool is I can show or I can demonstrate to a kid how to make the word cat. But sometimes it's a little bit more fun just to see, well, how can they be creative with making the word cat on their own? So I have them I'll have the parent grab one of these from Amazon. These are called wiki sticks. They sell them online. And what they'll do is they will actually make the word cat. Now, they can cut these to any size that they want to be able to cut them. There's scissors here. And then they can use the smaller parts when they're making some other words or other things. Or they can keep them the size that they are. So I'm going to make my C. And then to make it stick, I just kind of squish it on. So it just kind of stays there. And they can be able to pop it up and they can show it to me. So they show me the C that they made. And I can be like, oh, I like the way you made your C. That was really good. It's really amazing too, like how the kids will get creative sometimes with how they make their letters. So if I'm going to make the letter A, here I am. I've now made it a full, squished it. I could add another little piece on the side, or I can almost make it like double around like this, right? And I can make my A. I could make a capital A, right? So it's really up to the kids and how creative that they want to be able to get with it. I'm not really taking a look at how they are forming it and doing all that kind of stuff. It's all about, are they able to make the letters? And then they're associating a sound with it. So when they make the C, I'll say, so what sound does C make? They'll say, K. Awesome. When they see the A, I'll say, what sound does A make? They say, ah, perfect. And then we can make our T. Now, T is going to get a little bit trickier, right? T, I might need to cut like this. Or I could have taken two longer ones and just put them together like this. You just squish them. And the cool thing is when you squish them, it's not a forever thing. This is wax. So you don't have to worry about them not coming apart. They'll totally come apart. And I now have made my word. And I just squish it on whatever I'm going to show them with. Here is just the cover of my sand kit that I have. And right here, I now have the word cat. So one of the things I'll then say is, okay, I want you to take cat and I want you to turn it into pat. So now they have to think about, okay, how do I take cat and make it into pat? They can take another stick, right? And they can make it into a P. Or they could take the C that they have and actually make the C into a P. Squish it, put it on there, and now they have pat. I might say, okay, now I want you to take pat and I want you to turn it into sat. Well, now they have to think about how do I form that S, right? Here's my S. Again, I don't get too tricky with them and making sure that it's a perfect looking S, right? I'll just have them do that and I'll be like, okay, now read it. And they say sat. So this is a fun way to be able to make it hands-on for our kiddos. It's really simple to be able to do. And it's not messy when we're talking about being by a keyboard, right? And I think that's really, really key. So I think this is a cool tool to be able to utilize. I would love to know, have you guys ever used wiki sticks? What are some things that you have used to make it a little bit more hands-on for your students? Here's another tool that I love, and I was reminded of this one while I was at the state fair. So we went to the state fair on Friday, and I saw magnetic sand. Yeah, the stuff is awesome because it's not very messy. I can keep it away from my computer in a nice container like this. And I can use it to do a couple things. Now, I could form a letter C. Let's say I'm going to try that again, right? I'm going to take it and now I'm going to form the letter C. I've rolled it in my hands. roll, roll, roll. And now I can try to make the letter C with it like it's Play-Doh. And I can try to make an A. So I'll show you what my C looks like here. There's my C. I can try that. Another thing that I can do is I can actually squish it all down, make it flat, and I can use my finger to make a C in the sand. Do C, A, T, and I have now spelled cat. I can have them erase that C and say, can you turn that into pat? So again, this is just making it really, really fun and having the ability to kind of switch it around. I could even use a tool like the back of a fork, right? Something simple, and I can write in my sand. I could write it with the tip with the dots here, and I could form cat the best that I can. And now I have cat written right there. I can scrape that away, cover it on up, and look at that. Erase it, and now I could turn it into pat. I can use the other side of it, and I can draw the letter inside of there. Again, this makes it really easy just to, you know, pat it down. Since I just said pat, right? Pat that down. And now it's all gone. So these are two really great tools to be able to have on hand and to tell, you know, parents to purchase. I just give them a link inside of Amazon and say, hey, purchase this for your kids. We're going to be able to use this. Another fun tool is to have a board. This is called a Huion board. Lots of different companies make them. But this is a great way for you to be able to see the writing that they are able to do. I'm just wondering about seeing the word. Was it backwards just now when I was putting the word on up there? So I'm curious if I had it backwards, Maria. Just let me know inside of the chat. Because there is a setting that I can put it on that will flip it so that they can see it the correct way. I just updated my Zoom. So it might be that I don't have that setting on there. So thank you for asking that question. It was backwards. Okay. And it's just because I got that new update. So I usually have that already chosen. And so if I go to video settings and I say, I unclicked the mirror my video now. So I'm glad that accident happened so I could show you guys what to do. Now when I make my C, we'll just put the C back on up there. We'll see if you guys see it the right way. Do you see my C the right way now? So it's just a little touch of the button that will make it not be mirrored. But when you do ever do an update, a lot of times it will reset some of your settings and you just have to go back and set them back to the correct settings so that they're not seeing it backwards, right? That would be terrible. So let's go to, the board. Awesome. I'm glad. All right. So here is the board. The board is a lot of fun, again, because it allows you to be able to have the child write some of their letters on the screen, and then you can see them. So there's a thing called annotate that is on the screen. And there's also, like, I use OneNote a lot with my students. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you guys can see. This is my OneNote. I'm going to come to my quick notes add a section here. But as soon as I come into here, I can either give the student my, what's it called? It is called I can give them my cursor to be able to draw. So I just click draw here and I put whatever settings I want and I'll say, okay, let's choose what you want to be able to write with today. Do you want to write in rainbow today? And if they want to write in rainbow today, they can absolutely do that. We click draw, and now they can use their board to be able to draw. Now, this is a Huion board. It can be used, it's Huion, and it's also, Wacom sells a board. Huion is probably one of the cheaper ones. It is only about like $50 on Amazon. Again, it's a great tool for any kid to have online. But it kind of does the same exact thing that we were doing before. I can have the child write the word, right? I can say, okay, now take cat, turn it into pat. There's an eraser right on over here. I can erase, I can go back to drawing, and they can now make pat. Or they can erase that P, and they can now turn it into rat, right? So here they're getting the opportunity to say it, read it, write it, which, they're getting to hear it as they say it. They're getting to feel it as they write it, and they are able to write it. Another cool thing that you can do is you can have air writing for kids. So you can have them write the word rat, rat. And air writing, guess what? Is a free tool. They have their finger. It's not going anywhere. Oh, such a great question. Somebody had said that they have used OneNote before, but how do they get the kid to be able to do the writing? So when you do this, you have to put them as in control of your cursor. When you do that, they now can select it. If they're on annotate, and let me show you what annotate looks like because I'm inside of Zoom right now as well. I'm going to share my screen. When I'm in annotate, I only have the choices in my annotate. So I don't have as many options. So here, like if I'm to write it now, I'm still able to write it. I just can't do it in rainbow, right? So it just depends. Sometimes that's like a game changer for some kids. They're just having so much fun with being able to write in rainbow that's fun. If that's the case, now there are also some computers. It's not really the computers. Well, the Chromebooks. Chromebooks don't allow you to share your cursor. And some iPads, if kids are on iPads, some of the iPads don't allow you to share your cursor. So sometimes it's a tech issue. If that's the case, have them just write it using the annotate tool, and that'll work just fine. If they don't have the ability to annotate, don't use this activity, right? Yeah, so we just had the question from Juliet who said, yes, I thought that was it. The child wanted the rainbow pen. So yeah, if they want that rainbow pen and you are able to share your cursor with them because they're on the right device, it will totally work in that case. So awesome. Thank you, Juliet. You guys, we've got lots of people that are inside of the house today. So glad you guys are joining us and taking a look at some different multisensory approaches to being able to teach reading. So far we've taken a look at WikiSticks. We have taken a look at using the sand inside of here. We've taken a look at being able to use our little drawing board. And next are just some things that you don't even have to have your clients purchase. These are tools that I just use on an everyday basis. One of them is being able to learn through fun games, right? They're getting to hear the words, they're getting to see the words, they're getting to say the words. So one of my very favorite places to go is, dun 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 dun, I do like my good old Raz Kids. I'm going to show you Raz Kids in a second, but I'm going to go to wordwall.net first because kids love to learn through play, and this just makes it fun. So first, I make sure, I usually am only using this when it goes with a tool that I'm going to be doing or I need to do. Let's say I have some kids that are struggling with shun words. Well, I can take a look at all of the words that have shun words, and there's already games that are made inside of wordwall.com. So if we take a look here, we have SION and TION words, which is very cool because a lot of times the kids don't realize that SION and TION start the same. So this is whack-a-mole. And I'm going to share my sound with you. Let me come here. I'm going to share sound. So you see how I'm sharing the sound right there? And then I hit that share. And I can even make this bigger by clicking here. It says hit the moles with shun. So I can click option. I like my kids to read the word and I click the word, but you can have them click the word just if you just want them to notice them right away. So my student would say tradition, discussion. Oh, we're only looking for TION, not SION. I didn't read the directions very well. Condition. Oops, this is session, but it's SION. This is discussion. This one's tradition. So this is another tool that can make it really, really fun. They go through and they play. They get points. There's other games that they had as well. So let's take a look over here. They have flashcards where they break it up. So you only have to focus on the very first part of the word. This is great when you notice, particularly in a lesson, that a kid is struggling with a specific word. So here we have shun, right? And so here they can break this up and they can say, this is the open pattern. Yes, this is the open pattern, right? I can do the next card. I just click on there and they read this one and they just keep going inside of there. I can also change the games. Let's say all of a sudden I wanted to do random wheel with the same words. Here's a random wheel. They could spin the wheel. They spin the wheel. They read the word. We've got word search. It now can turn them into a word search where they have to find the words. They could do an open the box. So they choose any number and let's say they chose 13 and now they can read it. We have the open pattern and then we have shun, nay, shun. So this is just, it's really cool that it will take these different words, but yet it will show them in a different way for the kids to be practicing and getting some of that repeat practice with them. Something that's really, really critical, I think, for kids that are struggling is repetition, repetition, repetition. Seeing the words over and over again, being able to read them, getting them correct, getting them accurate, feeling that success is absolutely huge. Now I'm going to show you one of my other tools that I use with some of my kids, and it's called Head Sprout. I'm going to come on over to... Let's see. I'm going to come on over to Braden and I'm going to show you what Head Sprout looks like because this is really also auditory. There's a lot of auditory processing inside of here. And then there is also visual. They're getting to see a lot of visuals that are tied inside of here. So let's come on over to our reading room. Oops. I'm going to go back. Not reading room. Let's come back here to episode so you can see what this looks like. He's got a book that's next. So I'm just going to click through the book so you can see it. But the book, he's learned all of these words that are inside of this book. I'm going to click done. Yeah, they're not very happy when you click through it too fast because kids will actually do that. It's not always a teacher that's showing. So I'm just going to click through this. And this is through Kids A to Z, just so that you guys know. And Kids A to Z has pretty much any type of book that you need to work at all the different levels when kids are at the beginning reading stage. And it even takes them beyond just beginning reader. It takes them all the way up to like 6th grade reading level. I'm going to click here, next episode. And let's click on this right here.
Hello. This time, you'll learn 4 new sounds. Here come new sounds to learn. Click on ill.
So they hear it. And now they have to click on all the ones that are ill.
Ill.
In the beginning, they make it easy.
Ill.
Because they're all ill, right?
Good. Now, click on a.
So now they're clicking on A.
Awesome. Now, click on.
Now, I have found that it's when the kids are online and I'm giving them access to my controller, I tell them to actually click on the eyes.
Super. Let's practice our
because
sound.
by the time the click goes through, it's then on the shell. Now here you'll notice they told you to click for ill.
Ill.
But I don't want to be practicing on, I don't want to be hitting A, right?
Ill.
So I'm
Great.
listening.
Now.
And now I'm
Click
actively
on
choosing.
A. 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 Good. Now, click on.
So I'm finding.
Awesome. I bet you can figure out new sounds all by yourself. Find thir.
Thir. So now he hasn't showed us what thir looks like. He's saying, I bet you can figure it out though.
Thir.
So this is allowing their thinking to take place.
Super. Yeah. You're ready for all three sounds together. Find.
So now we've got. So it just goes through it. It's got different activities like this. All the activities are not the same, but I do like Headsprout for the fact that it does bring on in some visual, some auditory processing that needs to happen. And there is one last tool that's built into our Raz Kids activities that I'm going to show you. And this is pretty cool. Let me come back to sharing my screen, and I'm going to come back to the words. I'm going to go over to the reading room here. And we're going to choose one of the books that we would work on together. So if I come down here, let's say that I am reading all about fog. I can actually go to a phonics lesson here. And it has some phonemic awareness built on into it. So this is the sound counter. And kids are going to have that ability. Remember when you had the ability to kind of go on in and be able to have kids push words? Well, here they already have words that they've picked out that you'll be able to push to.
Every word is made up of sounds, but not all words have the same number of sounds. Let's listen to a word and count how many sounds we hear.
Cat.
How many sounds do you hear in that word? I hear 3. So I will push 3 sound makers up into the word box. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, there are 3 sounds in the word. Now you try it. How many sounds do you hear in the word?
Ice.
Ice. So now I say ice. I hit submit, and I'm correct. This is great because kids...
That word has 2 sounds.
Ice.
Hit each sound maker to hear it say a sound from your word. Hit the next button when you're ready to move on.
So now I can hit this.
I.
And now I can hit next.
How many sounds do you hear in the word?
Fog.
And so again, they go through and they're like, okay, I hear a lot of kids are confused that what they
Drop
see
a sound
here
maker into the box for every sound you hear in the word.
isn't the same amount always. In this case, it is, right? But on the last one, it wasn't. So we've got g. Now I can hit that submit.
Yep, that word has 3 sounds.
Fog.
These are also words that are going to be in the book that they're going to be reading. So this is giving them some extra practice with those words before they go into the book, which can be extremely helpful for those beginning readers. Now, I have one last tool, and it's actually for math, and it's called Touchpoint Math. And this is for those kids that are really struggling with addition and subtraction. This was a tool that I purchased. It downloaded onto my computer. So it's not something that the student has to purchase. Here, if you go to Quick Start it's got all of the different lessons. So if they've never done anything with being able to work with these, I can hit
The
go.
numeral 1 has one touching counting spot or touch point. The 1 is touched at the top while counting 1. Touch and count the touch point on the numeral 1.
Click on the
1.
Great. Then I go to the next one.
There are 2 touch points on the numeral 2. The 2 is touched at the beginning and the end of the numeral while counting 1, 2. Touch and count the touch points on the numeral in the correct order.
Click on the Done button when you are finished.
1, 2. Way to go! There are 3 touch points on the numeral 3. The 3 is touched at the beginning, middle, and end of the numeral while counting 1, 2, 3. Touch and count the touch points on the numeral in the correct order.
Click on the Done button when you are finished.
So this is really helpful for those kids that are really struggling with how do I count? I don't know how to count. They've really been struggling for a while with counting. This is a great way to take the counting to be visual and physical, right? They have to actually touch those touch points. They can touch it with their mouse. I've even been able to do it with kids that they aren't able to take over my screen. I'll have them annotate a dot on each of the points to represent them touching it so that it can work. So sometimes we have to get crafty and we have to, figure out some really quick ways to be able to help kids, but these all work and they are amazing. So I would love to, get your feedback later on if you ever try these out, how they work for you. And I want to just say thank you for joining us today. And if you like videos like this, where I teach you strategies that you can use in your own teaching, then hit that like and hit that subscribe so that you continue to see more stuff just like this. You guys enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.